good tee shot there. Further left.
I think I've found my favorite reaction shot of the year off the tee here. See if we can get it for the third time. Watch the little boy on his daddy's shoulder at the Mohawk. Watch him turn around and watch the flight of the ball. This blue shirt. Watch as he tries to track the action.
Where does Gary Wooden go with driver?
He's about 350 on the left, so I guess that's the one he's aiming at. Watch the kid here. Oh, it's priceless.
Oh, that's where he goes.
Yeah. I don't know which one was the best, but he certainly caught my attention after the first drive when Kuchar hit the tee shot. Good. Watch him here. Get on points. Whoa! I think there's a cooch leaving his lips too.
You said Mohawk, buddy. Turn it over here. You see your head. Turn your head, man. Turn your head, bud. Turn your head. Come on, there you go.
You know, when you consider some of the stupid reactions and yelling we've had recently,
yes,
that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Again tonight, Rams and the Broncos will meet at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, the NFL on CBS. Peyton Manning, the explosive Broncos, tonight will host the Rams. Greg and Dan will bring it to you. Tomorrow we'll have at noon Eastern Time the Arthur Ashe Kids Day. Always a wild time out there, plus the U.S. Open preview at 1:30 Eastern, followed by 2 o'clock, again an hour earlier tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, the final round coverage of the Barclays. Should be quite a day here with so many possibilities. Yeah, we'll have a busy day here in the New York metropolitan area. CBS Sports family will on the other side of Manhattan with all the festivities over at the National Tennis Center, and then we'll come over here to Jersey City. By the way, we're scheduled to leave right here at the top of the hour, but we're going to stay on before we get everybody in. Well, we are in the postseason here. FedEx Cup playoffs.
Come see why TexasOutside.com named Tierra Santa and Mexico the best greens in South Texas for 2013. The Players Card is back. Join now. Pay $100 and get 2 games of golf at great discounts all year long. Tierra Santa, the premier golf course in South Texas.
I had the best summer ever. We went to the desert and Daddy did a million trips. Maybe even a billion. It was awesome. Then we went to the lake. Mommy and Brian taught me how to wakeboard. I got so good.
The memories we share today become more magical tomorrow. The luxurious Infiniti QX. Drive a 2013 QX56 for just $619 a month from the all-new Bernardin Infiniti in Edinburgh.
Come see why TexasOutside.com named Tierra Santa and Mexico the best greens in South Texas for 2013. The Players Card is back. Join now. Pay $100 and get 2 games of golf at great discounts all year long. Tierra Santa, the premier golf course in South Texas.
Friday, catch Brownsville Hannah at Mission Sheridan on ValleyCentral.com.
Four's Countdown to Kickoff. Sports Director Clay Williams and Joe Bowling will preview the 2013 Valley High School football season live from Rattler Stadium in Mission. Sponsored in part by Mattress Firm.
You are looking live at Sheridan's Rattler Stadium in Mission, Texas, where the Texas high school football season is about to begin. It is time for Countdown to Kickoff. Action 4 Sports and ValleyCentral.com's look at the upcoming Rio Grande Valley High School football season. I'm Clay Williams, Action 4 Sports Director. With me, it's Joe Bowling. Joe, can you believe it's time for high school football in the Rio Grande Valley once again? I can't believe it, Clay. It seems like just like last week we were putting it away, saying, well, Roosevelt lost, and now it's back to the grind, but here we are. And it's what a way to start it off here with 52 teams in the mix. 52 teams in the Rio Grande Valley. We will have previews from every single one of them, while the folks from Sheridan give us a big send-off here. The band is here, the cheerleaders are here, the football team is here, Coach Ron Adami is here. He'll be talking to us a little later. But before we do that, let's go ahead and start with 3A, the classification that gave us the last team in the Valley standing last year. Let's take a look at the 3As in the Rio Grande Valley.
District 31, 3A.
It's 6 a.m. Come out here. So everybody's half asleep. And we try to get everybody riled up. You know what I mean? It's football, baby. It's Texas. Football's king.
Our motto all off-season was unfinished business. Two out of our 3 games in district, we led in the third, fourth quarter, and we weren't able to finish.
Oh, no, I definitely think we still have that burn, that fire. We're that close, 1 game away from playoffs. And I know we're coming back, all the seniors, such me, Ray, where we want to make it this year.
For the Gators to return to the postseason, Coach Abel Gonzalez says LaGrulla must not only rely on third-year starting quarterback Ray Peñablanca, but also get underclassmen some live game reps to prepare them to step in if necessary. And the seniors have to help.
And we tell them, well, it's not going to be easy. It's a grind. It's hard out here. But we just don't give up. Listen to us. As captains, we try to lead them as much as we can out here. Try to push them as hard as we can. Just try to make each other better.
Not that big. We're not going to ram down your throat every play, but we'll try and throw it over you and, run around you.
There is the Lyford offense in a nutshell. High tempo, no huddle, built to have the opponent's defense trying to catch their breath. Bulldogs quarterback Scott Arnold threw for almost 2,500 yards last year in this scheme, lost all of his wide receivers to graduation, and is now poised to do it all over again with a brand new crew of wideouts.
Well, these guys have a lot of confidence in Scott. Most of these receivers are all seniors, so they've been with Scott since 7th grade. So Scott has a good grasp of what we're doing. They know that. They have a lot of confidence in him.
I don't know if I would be comfortable in any other system. I love it here. I love the system. I love how it gives us, anything. Sky's the limit.
Chemistry. We got a lot of players come back from defense and offense, receivers, quarterbacks, DNs, running backs, receivers, all that. And you got a chemistry, that's all you need.
It's true, Raymondville is not lacking for talent in 2013 as the district's leading rusher, Jesse Valladares, listed all the returning starters the Bearcats will field. But there are a few things left on the menu if Raymondville wants to unseat Kingsville for the 31-5A title.
Focus, discipline, character, and that's pretty much it.
District 32, 3A.
All the fans we have, all the bonds we have, it doesn't matter who the coach is, we just want to win.
That outlook makes sense in Hidalgo, where Tahi Jones is the 3rd Pirates head coach in as many years after Scott Ford decamped to East Texas once again, following his only season on the Navy Blue turf. While the kids might feel abandoned, Coach Jones says the foundation has been laid. Now the only thing left to do is build.
To be quite honest with you, Coach Ford left the program. He left this in great hands. It was easy to transition into a new program, but what was set from Coach Ford and from this whole coaching staff was a great, high, enthusiastic attitude. And plus, now when you have a chance to be district champions, and come back and repeat for these kids, that says enough itself. The
next step for us is just keep going farther in playoffs, maybe 2-3 rounds deep, just keep going no matter what, and just to make some noise in the playoffs, have people talking about us basically.
People are talking about the LaFeria Lions, and here's what they're saying. This playoff team from last season returns all of their offensive linemen and their top running back. Wow, the run game will carry the Lions until the young wide receivers get their legs under them.
It's a lot funner than like having somebody that's been there for a lot of years, because then they don't want to change or anything. But these guys, they just keep working hard to get their spot, because everybody has a free spot here.
Because of experience on the offensive line, the experience at quarterback and the running back, it gives our receivers an opportunity to get some experience through the scrimmages in the early offseason before we really get into district.
Summer football is our goal around here at Port Isabel, understand? Sure. What about the next one? Is that August, September, October, November, 5 months? Man, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to make football every day except Sunday. Okay? And have some fun.
They've been talking about it. They believe. And that's the main thing. If you can get kids to believe, they can do great things. At least that's our goal, and that's our dream, is to get there.
We made a big motive that we want to go 16-0. Obviously, we want a state title. That's what we want. Anything else to us?
Port Isabel's quest was laid in front of them as soon as the final gun sounded versus Belleville 8 months ago. Make it back, then go further. To help the Tarpons fulfill that goal, Jason Wheeler was added to the coaching staff as a defensive coordinator, taken from Hidalgo in the off-season.
He brings a lot of energy. We're going to pretty much see a little bit of change and maybe some different types of zone blitzes, stuff like that. We're going to, whatever he tells us to do, we're going to do it, and we're looking forward to having Coach Wheeler.
Dedication's there, the discipline's there, we're unstoppable.
Is this the elusive playoff season the Red Ants have been waiting over 20 years for? Progresso fans hope that year one of the Tom Salazar era is just that. The longtime assistant is now in charge, and Las Hormigas seem up to the challenge.
My goals are more higher this year, so we're trying to go to playoffs. Playoffs is our way. The end of last season was like, we didn't do enough. It was short. It was cut short for us. This year we actually want to make it all the way to playoffs. Be a little better in district. Our running backs know what to do. We just give them a little lane and they're going to take it. We got 3 good running backs. They all run the ball pretty well. So I think we're kind of going to stick to the run.
Rio Hondo will use their stable of running backs to give their offense a base to work from, but as the Bobcats season progresses, expect to see quarterback Eli Patonis start to air it out. Thrown into the fire as a sophomore after Wampuga's injury last year, the new signal caller is ready to show his stuff.
Eli has matured a lot. Last year he was very, very young. He got 1 start last year against Progresso to end the season. I think that maturity has carried over to this year, and I think he's going to play a big role in what we do.
I'm just playing the same role as a pre-rep player. I mean, I just want to lead my team into winning district, just playing my role, and I know everyone that's behind me is going to play their role also.
District 32, 3A.
That fast break offensive line for all the returners and PI. Hidalgo replaces the quarterback. What a way to get a starting play. Absolutely. 3A, it might be where it's at when it comes to plain old competition. Good stuff. All right, we are coming right back on Countdown to Kickoff. We're going to talk about our predictions for who's going to make it to the playoffs out of 3A with Armando Garza. It's all when we come back on Countdown to Kickoff live from Cherryland's Rattler Stadium. We'll be right back after this.
YouTube, but ever since I fiddled with satellite streaming my workouts, never seemed to work out.
To the other side.
How many calories have you burned?
12.
With Time Warner Cable, you can enjoy a better TV experience with a faster internet. Guaranteed.
Satellite with DSL internet leaving you frustrated? Switch to Time Warner Cable. Call 1-855-1TWC to get TV, internet, and phone for as little as $79.99 a month. And ask how you can get a $300 Visa reward card. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
We gotta do what we gotta do. Save you money.
Action 4 and the McAllen ISD are proud supporters of Valley High School sports and academics. Join us as we thank our Valley Football Central sponsors and cheer on our students this season.
I'm Dr. Turner Wright, and in just 15 minutes, I can help you read better.
My life has changed tremendously since I had the procedure. I used to wake up again with headaches daily, and since then I haven't had any headaches in the morning.
For a sinus problem, make the right choice.
We are back at Sterling's Rattler Stadium. We are talking 3A high school football of the Rio Grande Valley, and joining us is Armando Garza. Armando, you followed the Tarpons all the way to the Final Four last year. Tell me this, can they make it again? Do we see another rematch with Belleville? Can they make it? Because that's all they're talking in Tarpon land.
They can make it, and I think they will make it. You know, this team is determined. They got all those guys coming back, superstar power. I mean, the road's paid for them. They just got to take it.
Armando, I'll tell you what, I covered most every team that's going to be playing this Port Isabel team already, and all of them, they got the bullseye on their back. Now, has it ever been to this level where everyone is eyed in on this? We're going to get PI.
It has been. If you know anything about Port Isabel football in the past, they love that pressure. They love that bullseye. And these kids thrive on it. That's what they want. They have high expectations, and they're ready to go out and achieve them.
Now, Armando, I know you're picking Port Isabel first in 32-3A, but I'm interested to see the rest of your picks, especially since now, for the first time, we've got 4 teams from each district that are going to the playoffs. What are the rest of your picks at
80% of the district makes. How about that, right? I got Rio Hondo getting back in. You know, they had a down year last year with injuries. La Feria had a senior ball club, but Eric Weddle's back, and he should be ready to go for them. My stunner, I guess you want to call it, I got Progreso making it 4th. Wow. They got a lot of enthusiasm over there. They got 2 good running backs, Sammy Tafoya and Jose Luis Munoz. So, new attitude with Tom Salazar. They got to win one district ball game, bottom line.
I'm in the same boat here with Port Isabel. I got them as the final team standing in the valley again when this is all said and done. PI, Rio Hondo makes it again. La Feria, Hidalgo, I got them in, but they're my sleeper as far as Progreso. You tell me how good Hidalgo's offense is, I'll tell you whether or not they're going to make it or not, but right now I got them in. I think we're all on the same page here. PI, Rio Hondo, La Feria. Then it's going to be tough between Hidalgo and Progreso. I'd love to see the Red Ants make it for the first time since 1990. Quickly, let's go to 31-3A. Lyford and Raymondville, and of course the Gruya now in that district. Kingsville won it last year. How do you see it coming around this year?
I think Kingsville could take it again. They have a lot of speed, but Raymondville and Lyford are right there. Raymondville's got Jesse Bialatis, very underrated as a tailback. He's got the complete package. Lyford's got Scott Arnold. We all know what he can do. And I think Gruya gets in. You know, they'll get back in the playoffs. Ray Peña Blanca is back at quarterback. A lot of experience, so I think those will be your 4.
How about you? Well, Armando, real quick, I've got Raymondville taking it first this year. I really like what they do. King, I saw them practice, believe it or not. They look pretty good, too. Lyford, 10 seconds to run, we're going to snap the football. They're going to put up some points. And then I got Gruya making the football. That Lyford team, no. 10 seconds, and they snap the ball, Armando. It is one of the fastest in the valley. You can see my picks here. I've also got Lyford, Raymondville, Gruya, and Kingsville making it. Armando, I want to thank you. You're going to be coming back when we talk about the rest of the smaller schools, 2As, 1As. We'll talk to you in a minute. And coming right up on Countdown to Kickoff, we're going to talk about the coach who runs the team that runs this field. It's Coach Ron Adami of the Sheridan Rattlers. He joins us next on Countdown to Kickoff.
Financing, TW Auto Sales leads the way in credit approvals. Plus, TW's credit repair program special occasion. The fun starts here at Rental World's 6 South Texas locations or go to rentalworld.com for all your rental needs.
I went to a department store and made an 8-year mistake. I shopped at the wrong mattress store and made an 8-year mistake.
Don't make an 8-year mistake buying your next mattress. Come to Mattress Firm, where our sleep consultants have helped millions of Americans find their perfect mattress. We guarantee you'll sleep happy or your money back. No restocking fees, no runaround, no hassles. So don't make
An achy,
Miserable.
8-year mistake.
Come to Mattress Firm. Save money, sleep happy.
Action 4 and the Weslaco ISD are proud supporters of Valley High School sports and academics. Join us as we thank our Valley Football Central sponsors and cheer on our students this season.
Papa Joe's Burgers and Stuff in Harlingen. Enjoy a delicious, high-quality burger and choose from a big selection of ice-cold beer. We're open every day for lunch and dinner. See what kind of live music we'll have this weekend on Facebook.
Back here, countdown to kickoff continues, and now we swing away from the table, and I get a chance to talk things over with Sergio Chapa and our social media. Sergio, it's a trifecta this year. We got it covered on 3 angles.
Yeah, you bet. We're all over the place. I've got a live video stream on YouTube right now. But in addition to that, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're holding conversations with people across the Valley, across the United States, and across the world who love Valley High School football.
Of course, with our streaming that's going on, 27 teams we're covering this year, 9 games on the first Friday alone. And Sergio, we're hearing from places around the world.
You betcha. Now, people here, we got people saying Gloria Lopez going, "Go Rio Hondo Bobcats." We have Sonny De La Cruz saying, "Go Greyhounds." And even in Starr County, Letty Solis Rodriguez says, "RGC Rattlers and Korea Gators, whoop whoop." So, I mean, they love it.
Sergio Chapa and our social media, the trifecta, and we'll be back after this with a countdown to kickoff from Sherryland.
Action 4 and the Sherryland ISD are proud supporters of Valley High School sports and academics. Join us as we thank our Valley Football Central sponsors and cheer on our students this season.
Hi, I'm Frankie D. And when it comes to great customer service before and after the sale, I shop at the Boot Jacks of McAllen and Brownsville. They have what I want, plus they offer embroidery services for shirts and suits, plus custom designs for clothes and boots, and they even do alterations for that perfect fit. The Boot Jack still offers layaway and professional hat services at all 4 locations. You can also place special orders for boots, hats, and western wear. Step into the Boot Jack. Step out in style. Texas style.
They both bring their own strengths to the table, and they're both great athletes, and we just feel fortunate that we have two players with a caliber of their ability level.
Yeah, and they have so many weapons, Coach, and that's one of the things last year. You guys had so many offensive weapons that nobody could be on just one. I'm guessing that's the way you're going to try to attack defenses this year as well.
That's part of our MO offensively, and we're going to continue to do those types of things because I just think it makes us harder to defend. So as long as we tell our quarterbacks, as long as you distribute the ball and keep teams from keying on one person, that's going to make us much more versatile.
All right, Ronnie Dominic, coach of the Sherryland Rattlers, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for letting us borrow your field for a night. We'll let you have it back after tonight, I promise. That's Coach Ronnie Dominic of the Sherryland Rattlers. We are coming right back. We are live on Countdown to Kickoff, ValleyCentral.com, and Action 4's look at the 2013 high school football season. We'll be right back after this.
Action 4 and the Brownsville ISD are proud supporters of Valley High School sports and academics. Join us as we thank our Valley Football Central sponsors and cheer on our students this season.
Not military? Not a problem. At Navy Army, we think everyone deserves the benefits of a credit union, and no one should have to settle for a bank. While banks answer to their shareholders, we answer to you, which means we can offer better rates and just all-around better service. So why be loyal to a bank that's not loyal to you? No barriers and better service. Does your bank do that?
Now at Lax, buy a whole house full of furniture for just $19.99. You get this 5-piece living room, 5-piece dining set, and complete 21-piece bedroom, including a Restonic Queen mattress set. You save over $13.70 now at Lax.
Friday, catch Donna at PSJA North on ValleyCentral.com.
We are back at Sharyland's Rattler Stadium live for Countdown to Kickoff Action 4's look at the upcoming high school football season. Joe, we just had Coach Ron Adondo of the Sharyland Rattlers on. They went 12-1 last year, the best 5A team. It's only right that we look at that district right now.
Well, and all the question marks about how they're going to replace all that offense that they lost from a year ago. But, sitting in there in that mix is the next team that I think may be the last team standing in the big schools, especially Edinburgh North. We'll get to them too.
All right, let's take a look right now at District 30, 5A.
District 30, 5A.
It feels like home. This is home. I've done this long. Maybe I just don't have I don't have to ask anybody else. I've been asking you the questions. Sometimes I wish they would ask me some of these questions.
The questions for new Redskins coach Ramiro Leal, in charge after 25 years with the district, are on the defensive line with 4 new starters and at quarterback, where 3 compete for that position. And, of course, the question about the split. What happens when one program becomes 2?
We're pretty much the last class that's going to be 5A for a while. And it gets us motivated. It gets us going. We want to be great. We don't want to be remembered this year to be remembered as the year down a split. We want to, make our name.
We don't have to push them too much. They're self-motivated. They're Edinburgh Bobcats, and they want to do well. A 3-7 season in 2012 doesn't cut it in Bobcat country, so Edinburgh is pushing themselves to the limit during 2-a-days. Coach Castro says his best players will play on both sides of the ball, and the quarterback might not ever step under center in his new offense.
We're football players, man. We're adjusted to the system, and it's just part of playing the game. We're a different team this year, and we got all the cobwebs out through 2 days, and we're ready to play. Coach has always told us to believe in ourselves and we can take it as far as we want. And he just said, just buy into it. Believe in me and I'll take you places. And that's what we did. We believed in him and he proved us right. So we're going to keep on doing it.
The belief is there, and so is the talent. Edinburgh Economides went from 0 wins in 2011 to 6 victories last season, and the Jags' first playoff appearance in 8 years. That was without quarterback Luis Alvarez, injured in week 3. Now he's healthy. Edinburgh Economides will open up the slot T accordingly.
You can have egg on your face, or you can fall flat on your face if you don't put in the work. Right. And they're hungry. We see it in their eyes. They want to accomplish the goal of getting back in. They liked what it tasted like.
You'll see them both in the backfield at the same time.
Having Matt and Adrian Alvarez is a double trouble for any team.
Edinburgh North opponents have been warned. Trying to stop the Cougars' rushing attack will be difficult at least, impossible at most, with Matt Whiteside and Adrian Alvarez running behind the big man, David Anzaldua. The Cougs' defense gets a boost as Sharyland 3-year starter at linebacker Joey Esquivel joins the Navy and Gold.
But because they knew each other as kids and they really hung around, not a lot because they lived in Sharyland, but they still, they see each other. So the kid, didn't miss a beat as he came back.
Offensively right now, we're going to try to run the football first. We want to be superior throwing the football, but that's going to take us some time developing quarterbacks. So we're going to continue to try to be a spread offense that has a very successful way running the football.
The SaberCats have a crucial year of experience under their belt. Now Vela will try to translate that experience into their first win as a varsity program. The players say they know the commitment victories will take.
Our summer strength and conditioning, it's not mandatory, but most of our team made it up like it was mandatory. I saw all my team always here, always putting in overtime. That's pretty disciplined to me.
Last year, like I said, being a young team, we didn't have the numbers that 5A schools have, so we kind of struggled with the depth, and this showed.
It showed for La Jolla in the form of 7 straight losses to end the 2012 season. But there is optimism in Coyote land these days. Junior quarterback Julio Garcia will be improved after taking his lumps last year, and the linebacker core is physical, itching to return to the days of Puro Coyote.
We talk about getting back on the ball, picking up this program, because we're in the hole right now, and we got to pick it back up, bring the tradition back. We have a lot of rich tradition, and we got to pick it up.
That's one of the things that's on their mind right now. They say they want to, they're tired of the way things are. They want to establish a tradition back in La Jolla, and they're willing to do anything and pay the price.
Our theme this year is 5-on-5 is not enough. And, last year it was all about moving up from 4A to 5A, and this year, we told them now we know that we can play with the big boys, and now it's time to not only compete, but to try to go undefeated in the season.
If a district title is in the cards for the Huskies, it will come with the Juarez-Lincoln running game, bolstered by an experienced offensive line, a young running back by the name of Boca Negra, sound familiar, and from speedster Martin Diaz, the do-it-all dog with a track pedigree.
Running back is one of those that can do anything. He can catch, he can run. Yeah, he has a breakaway speed, he has a power. The school's been here for around 8 years now, so each coming year we're just that short. It just pushes us more. We want it so bad. We want to get over that hump, We want to feel that taste of playoffs in our mouth, and we want to be hungry again.
Is this the year Palmview's Lobos finally make the postseason? If so, it will be the powerhouse offensive line that drives them there. The running game, a point of emphasis, as well as new kickers trying out for the Lobos special teams. After all, it was just a field goal's worth of points that kept Palmview out of the playoffs last time.
Last year we missed it by 3 points. Those 3 points kept us from going to playoffs. And our shirts say 3 points shy, and they're we feel like down, we don't feel like we're doing good. Just look at ourselves back and say we gotta drive to get those 3 points and make the playoffs.
Last year we had some good players that left, so it makes us want to work harder and just try to fill in their shoes.
Those are not only some big shoes, they're fast ones as well. Sherilyn's 12 wins in 2012, the most of any Valley team, and the offensive weapons, second to none. Once again, the Rattlers have more options to carry the rock than you would imagine, and it does seem like it's reload, not rebuild for the Rattlers.
It's just to replace guys and go. We've been in sync ever since we started first day of spring ball. It's just nothing new to us. We all know the offense. We're ready to hit it again hard. We reload and we're coming back for another long run.
District 30, 5A.
Well, looking back at that, you can see all the excitement that was at the 5A level and the excitement coming up. Clay, we've seen a little bit of these teams and wide open this year again.
Yeah, everybody's thinking Sherilyn Edinburgh North is the game to see in this district, and we're going to talk to one guy who covers this team extensively. When we come back, Todd Oidaker from the Monitor, he is the 35A beat writer. He's going to join us and give us his picks on 35A, who's going to the playoffs, who's staying home. It's all when we come back on Countdown to Kickoff. We are live from Sherilyn's Rattler Stadium in Mission. Stand by. We're going to be back right after this.
It's the Valley's own regional sports network on ValleyCentral.com.
Your home for Rio Grande Valley High School football is ValleyCentral.com. Log on now to catch all the action. Another great season of Valley High School football is on ValleyCentral.com.
Thursday, catch Mission at La Jolla Palmview and Edinburghville at PSJ High, along with
ValleyCentral.com.
I went to a department store and made an 8-year mistake. I shopped at the wrong mattress store and made an 8-year mistake.
Don't make an 8-year mistake buying your next mattress. Come to Mattress Firm, where our sleep consultants have helped millions of Americans find their perfect mattress. We guarantee you'll sleep happy or your money back. No restocking fees, no runaround, no hassles. So don't make
an achy,
miserable
8-year mistake.
Come to Mattress Firm. Save money, sleep happy.
Action 4 and the Edinburgh CISD are proud supporters of Valley High School sports and academics. Join us as we thank our Valley Football Central sponsors and cheer on our students this season.
With over 9 million page views per month, ValleyCentral.com is the Valley's award-winning website.
Sports at ValleyCentral.com's live look at the upcoming 2013 high school football season. Joe Bowling is to my left. To my right, it's Todd Ordaker from the Monitor. He is the beat writer for District 35A. Of course, the most prominent team last year in that district was the Sheridan Rattlers. We're here at their home. I'm interested, Todd. They lost so many playmakers, but it seems like they've got just that many more playmakers coming back in.
Yeah, that's the way it generally goes here. They lose a bunch of guys, and then they have I think when I was talking to Coach Adame before the season on Monday, he gave me about 8 to 10 wide receivers that they could possibly use. So, I mean, there are a lot of different weapons, but I guess standing out, number one might be Sean Londes, who had that 109.9 yard kickoff return last year. So there's that, and then Michael Gonzalez is going to be the running back. They got 2 quarterbacks to choose from. They have 2 receivers coming back, 3 linemen coming back. So there's a lot to pick from here.
Well, I got a question for you on this Sheridan team. The past 2 seasons at least, it was going in. We want respect from Harlingen. 42-2.
Yeah.
New tune this year going into this season.
That game, do you think that's cemented like Sheridan is the new Valley Power, or was it just a one-season thing? I mean, it depends how you look at it. Talking to the other 35A schools, I mean, Sheridan's the team to beat according to all of them. They all want Sheridan after what happened last year, so, we're just going to have to see how that goes.
But let's talk about the transfers that really affected the balance of power in this district. Diego Chrysler comes over from McCallum Memorial, and now he's competing for the starting quarterback job with Lance Madden.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Joey Esquivel leaves Sheridan, probably the best linebacker in the Valley, and he goes to a district rival.
Yeah.
He goes over to Edinburgh North. How does that shift things?
It makes Edinburgh North's defense a lot better. I mean, when I went over there, all they talked about was how big Joey got, how his arms were so big, and how he cemented the middle of their defense. They were going to move an outside linebacker into the middle, but now they're able to keep the 2 guys on the outside. Joey jumps right into the middle. I mean, he was there before. He was there in middle school, so he knows all those guys. So he wanted to go in there and finish his career. So, that makes Edinburgh North defense a lot better. They played really well in their scrimmage against Mission on Friday, and they probably have the best defense right now in the district.
When you look at that defense now, last year against that Steel team, they did real well in the first quarter into the second. Do they have enough to go against the big-time playmakers coming out of San Antonio again to say they got a chance to win a big game?
Ooh, so are you saying is Edinburgh North like the team to beat in 35A? Are they going to go 3 deep? I mean, they very well could. They did last year. Yeah, their defense is going to be a lot better than it was last year. They have the best offensive lineman in South Texas, and David Anzaldua, and they have 2 really good running backs to rely on. The question is, they're going to be able to throw the football, and that's not going to be answered until we get further into the season. They got 2 new quarterbacks to choose from, so they're gonna have to figure that out if they can throw the football or not. But we'll see.
All right, let's go ahead and get to our picks, then. And I'm interested to see where you've got Edinburgh North, where you've got Sheridan, and where you've got Donna with their new coach, Romero Leal.
Yeah.
What are your 4 teams that you've got making the playoffs for District 35?
Well, I went real original this year. I went the same 4 as last year. Sheridan, I think they're going to repeat as the district champions, but they're going to go face Edinburgh North in Week 9 in Edinburgh. So I'm not Nostradamus, so they could lose that game. But then North, Don, and the Economides are my 4 playoff team.
All right, how about you, Joe?
Well, I had Edinburgh North without a doubt, but now after I saw Sheridan last night against Harlingen, flip a coin. Edinburgh North, Sheridan still going to make it. Donna, and then Economides, second trip of the playoffs.
All right, I've got the same 4, but in a different order. I've got Edinburgh North winning it. I think Joey Esquivel moves the balance of power over to Edinburgh. I think they win the home game. I've got Economides coming out ahead of Donna. I just think that they've got so much coming back. Hugo Reyes-Paz, Luis Alvarez is healthy again. I've got Economides coming in 3rd behind Sheridan in 2nd. Todd, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it. It's going to be fun covering in this district.
It will be. It will be fun. Hopefully it's fun as last year.
It certainly could be, or most likely will be. Todd Ordaker, Joe Bowling, I'm Clay Williams. We're coming right back on Countdown to Kickoff. It is your look at the 2013 high school football season. We're coming right back right after this.
With over 85 years of combined experience, the Sportsman and Shallow Sport Boats have always strived to bring you the very best that Laguna Madre has to offer. Whether you're fishing the flats or heading offshore, from 15 to over 27 feet, Shallow Sport Boats has over 10 fully composite models to choose from. Experience the legendary Shallow Sport. You'll find the largest selection of shallow water fishing boats and the greatest personal service at the Sportsman in San Benito. The Sportsman.
Hey, what's up? Working out. Well, trying to, but ever since I settled with satellite streaming, my workouts never seem to work out.
How many calories have you burned?
12.
With time with cable, you can enjoy a better TV experience with a faster internet. Guaranteed.
Satellite with DSL internet leaving you frustrated? Switch to Time Warner Cable. Call 1-855-1TWC to get TV, internet, and phone for as little as $79.99 a month. And ask how you can get a $300 Visa reward card. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Action 4 and the San Benito CSID are proud supporters of Valley High School sports and academics. Join us as we thank our Valley Football Central sponsors and cheer on our students this season.
I'm Dr. Turner Wright, and in just 15 minutes, I can help you read better.
My life has changed tremendously since I had the procedure. I used to wake up again with headaches daily, and since then, I haven't had any headaches in the morning.
For sinus problems, make the right choice.
And that again is a look at this wide open football that's coming up here as we continue with our countdown to kickoff. Clay, we talked about the 3As, we talked about a couple of 5As. The small schools, you know, if you thought Lyford was fast, where do you see St. Joe this year?
Yeah, St. Joe, definitely the fastest offense in the Valley. They're even faster than Lyford. They go 7 seconds or less. We're talking about those small schools because, hey, they deserve our love too. Just because you don't know where some of these schools play their ball doesn't mean they don't deserve a look. We're taking a look at 2A, 1A, the private schools, and even a couple of independents, including the Valley's newest high school football team right now in this preview.
District 16, 2A, Division 1.
Anytime you have a change, it's tough on the kids, especially the seniors. So I'm real pleased on how receptive they've been to the new staff. It wasn't exactly broken, you know, so we're trying to keep the good things going and throwing in a few wrinkles of our own.
New Santa Rosa head coach Arturo Garcia, certainly familiar with the Warriors and their district, having already been head coach at 16 2A rivals San Diego and Falfurrias. Now Garcia takes his small school expertise to Santa Rosa, where he's looking for depth while promoting teamwork.
Preaching team, intensity, character, passion, trust, teaching us those things.
You know, when you're new, you got to develop a relationship, really trust between the player and the coach and so forth. And for the most part, yes, it's a process, but so far so good. They bought into everything we're trying to do here.
District 16, 1A, Division 1.
The talent and the way these kids are,
take to football is an exciting thing, and so I'm glad to be here.
Joe Salinas at La Villa, take 2. The veteran coach returns to the Delta for his second stint with the Cardinals. Big changes on defense and on offense, where the transition from spread to slot T is one the coach thinks will make third-year starting quarterback Robert Serna even more dangerous.
With him and being a mobile quarterback, one that's really accurate in throwing the football, I think it's going to make teams have to work a little harder. Okay?
I want to go deep in playoffs and take the district title again and keep on going and be the last team standing.
Yes, your chance!
I've seen a lot of improvement from last year. We're stronger, faster, and we're more fluent in running plays.
The second year of varsity football at Monte Alto not only bringing more experience to the Blue Devils, it also brings a new head coach in Carlos Castillo. Castillo, formerly an assistant at PSJA, is surprised at the depth of small-town support he sees for his team.
The parents are the ones coaching. My son misses tell me, and they'll leave work to come drop him off. They want to make sure their son is here in practice, and that commitment from the parents and the athletes is awesome. You know, the whole community is around us right now, and the support is there, and these kids are feeding off of that.
You got 5 coaches instead of 3, and everything's going better, and I see a coach for every position out there, so it's pretty good going right now.
The Santa Maria football program made the commitment to hire new coaches. Now they hope the number of players gets a bump up as well. Rolando Aguirre takes over as head coach, while the man who held that position last season, Frank Muir, gets bumped down to defensive coordinator. A strange arrangement that seems to be working.
The kids like him, the kids like to be by him and so forth, and he's shown that he's part of the team, okay, and that's what it takes. Every coach has to be together in order to get this thing done.
We really grew fond of our old coach, and we need to have him here with a new coach. The new coach brings a lot of experience and a lot of work, and the old coach has our spirit and has our hearts.
Private schools and independents.
It's good for us to have these guys, connect with the younger guys, and then they learn from them, and then they pass it on, and that's what we want. We want to create a tradition, in a sense, that keeps going from year to year.
Tradition plays another factor for St. Joseph Academy football, giving the new arrivals a jump start in learning the Bloodhounds' no-huddle, hurry-up offense, a scheme the coach believes will lead to even more scores this season, and the quarterback admits he can't play without.
It's funny, the first years were hard, getting all those signals and signs from the coaches, and since we've been a tempo-based offense, it's better for me now that I got it going on real fast.
I want to see the speed a little faster. It's to us. I think that's going to be our key, is to keep that game moving quickly.
This team is not like the other teams, but we're growing as a family, and that's what keeps us together, and that's what I think is going to be a great team.
The building blocks of a private school football program are in place at Far Oratory in their third year together as a team. With many players just joining the Ocelots this week, the coach is using his team leaders to teach the rookies how to win.
What we're doing is we're preparing our seniors to help those kids that are coming in, and they're going to be part of our captains, or part of that program also, to help them to get ready for the season.
We're trying to prepare the new players, like the freshmen, to be capable of creating a winning team throughout their 4 years in high school.
So we bring them in here, and this is the first thing that we preach to them, is we've got to come together as a team, and we have to get along with each other. I don't expect you to love one another, but I certainly want you to respect each other.
Players from around the world arrived at Marine Military Academy over the past couple of weeks. Coach David Robletto's job is to make them into a team of leathernecks. That gets helped along by the pride the young men take in wearing both of their school uniforms.
We go up against all these other teams, and the only thing they're thinking is, we're going to go get the Marines, we're going to go get the leathernecks. And we have to defend the title that we have, like MMA. We don't have names on our jerseys, we only have MMA, that's all we are.
We
we have some athletes, some pretty good athletes that if we get the blocks in, we should be able to break some. We're going to surprise some people with what we have, our individuals we have.
The problem is there's not enough of them. Now LaSera coach Roy Vega trying to recruit players for the Lions. Yes, so they have enough to play their schedule, but also so LaSera can petition to join the UIL and a district next fall. The Lions themselves desperately want that to happen.
We're showing some pride here. We're showing a lot of determination how to get up there. Bringing players out here, players that have never tried football before. We're getting them out here, trying them out. Most of them stay. Hopefully we have enough players for the rest of the season. Since we're sixth graders, our dream is actually paint under the lights, every Friday night. Maybe in a couple of years, you never know, we might have lights here in La Sala.
Been kind of hard for me personally because I've always wanted to play as a Redskin, but it's all good because I get to play for Coach Salcedo now. And I'm the chief. He's bringing a lot of experience over from down the Redskins, and now he knows what he's doing, and he'll lead us to where we need to be in the future.
Where the Valley's newest football program needed to be this last week was home, and for the first time ever, the Donna North Chiefs practiced at Benny LaPrade, the stadium they will share with Big Brother Redskins, and even play their first ever varsity games there later next month.
So we're starting to get a little excited about it, to get used to the surroundings around here, and because come Friday night, the stands will be packed and we'll be ready to go.
Private schools and independents.
Hey, that Donna North team may be a new one, and they'll be in the mix for years to come. But all those small schools, folks, we may have another sleeper team that could be the last team standing in that Lavia squad. What a group right there. And the small schools, still big-time football coming up. Absolutely. Lavia with a brand-new coach. Of course, they've got the same quarterback they've had for the last 2 years. Could they make it further than any other team in the Rio Grande Valley? We're going to talk about Lavia, plus all the 1As like Monte Alto, like Santa Maria, and, of course, Lavia. When we come back on Countdown to Kickoff, Armando Garza joins us once again to talk about these small schools. We're going to give them some love. It's all when we come back on Countdown to Kickoff, ValleyCentral.com, and Action 4 Sports. Look at the 2013 high school football season. We'll be right back live from Sheridan's Rattler Stadium in Mission.
The cafeteria is buzzing with excitement as the students arrive. Oh, no crust? Some guy knows what he wants. Well, I respect that. Jackpot. My favorite, apples and peanut butter. Hey, guys. Wow, cool lunch boxes. I'll trade you this microphone for these chips. No deal. Yeah, I didn't think so. This week by HE Buddy Smoothies, get HE Buddy Grams free. Plus, by Oscar Mayer Uploaded Lunchable, get Jell-O Gelatin or pudding free. Be a back-to-school star with HEB.
Hey, what's up?
Working out, well, trying to, but ever since I settled with satellite streaming my workouts, never seemed to work out. To the exercise!
How many calories have you been?
12.
With Time Cable, you can enjoy a better TV experience with a faster internet. Guaranteed.
Satellite with DSL internet leaving you frustrated? Switch to Time Warner Cable. Call 1-855-1TWC to get TV, internet, and phone for as little as $79.99 a month. And ask how you can get a $300 Visa reward card. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Papa Joe's Burgers and Stuff in Harlingen. Enjoy a delicious, high-quality burger and choose from a big selection of ice-cold beer. We're open every day for lunch and dinner. See what kind of live music we'll have this weekend on Facebook.
Friday, catch Los Fresnos at San Benito on ValleyCentral.com.
It's Action 4 Sports look at the upcoming high school football season. Thanks so much for joining us here live from Sherland's Rattler Stadium in Mission. Now, joining us now, Armando Garza, to talk a little bit. We already talked about some of the 3As. Let's talk about some of the even smaller schools. Let's start with number 2A, Santa Rosa, a brand new coach. Josh Gonzalez is gone after 6 years there. Now Arturo Garcia is in there. What do you see as Santa Rosa as, that huge win over the Ferry and looked like it was it for them last year? What's in the future for the Warriors?
Well, it's all about change in Santa Rosa. It's a new attitude. Arturo Garcia is a fiery guy. He's worked with some great coaches. He worked with Roberto Valdez in the 90s. He's been around, so he knows what he's doing. And he's preaching team. These guys are buying into that concept. They're working together, and that's going to spell some more victories for them.
Now, he also was the coach at two of Santa Rosa's rivals. He coached San Diego and coached Algeria, so he knows this district.
He does, and he knows Santa Rosa. He knows their potential. He was on the receiving end a couple of years ago of that great Santa Rosa team that went 3 deep. So he knows the kids know him, and good things are going to happen there. Well, I got to see them out in practice, and you can tell a different step in the way they were operating. Now, talk about change. How about in the smaller schools? Yet, change is the word when it comes to coaches in this what we're talking about here. I'm going to throw another percentage. Like 75% of 16A has new coaches, and there's the 3 Valley schools. But I think they're good changes, though. In La Villa, you get Joe Salinas back in town, who he had a lot of good success with them. Robert Sedna's back. They're struggling with numbers, as all 3 are right now. But La Villa looks good. Then you have Monte Alto. They went different with Cesar Castillo coming over. They're going to be working hard. They're kind of starting from scratch, as he said this summer. And then you have Santa Maria. That was kind of the weird situation there. Frank Mir stays on as defensive coordinator, which is good for continuity. Most kids love him. So I think those are your 3 playoff teams there.
You think all 3 of those teams will make the playoffs, and you think Ben Bolt is going to be shut out?
I think it can happen. Ben Bolt, I have an old Valley coach, Jeff Lefevre, but I think Monte Alto can get in if they come around as quickly as they want to. I think they can get in.
I have to admit, I like Monte Alto. I like what I saw when I went to the other deal. They're big kids. There's not very many, but they're big kids, Joe. What are your picks?
Well, that's how I was with Santa Maria. I got to see them, and I kind of fell in love with how they were operating. Now, I saw them last year with the coach. I saw them this year, same coach and a new coach. And I like them. I like La Villa, though, head and shoulders above the rest of them. Santa Maria, and then Ben Bolt. I still have them making it in.
Well, we got you here, Armando. Let's even talk about maybe some of the smaller teams. In TAPS, of course, St. Joseph, they're going to be going that 7 seconds or less offense that they've got the Oregon cue cards on the side. They've already beaten one of the San Antonio teams. Can they go up against Antonian? Can they go up against Central Catholic? Can they go up against Austin St. Michael's?
Another year in this system, they just keep looking better and better. They're going to put up yards. They're going to put up points. The question is, can they get over that hump? I think this year they can at least beat one of those teams. Maybe not all of them, but they'll take a step forward this year. What I got to see in them is they have 3 playmakers, Armando. When you get 3 playmakers on a small school, sometimes that can carry the load. It can, and one of them has a good game. It's easily going to rub off on the other, and big things happen.
All right, well, that's it for us talking about the small schools. Sarah, I hope you get some more kids out, so I hope you can join the other 3 1As in the Valley and join them in 16 1A Division I next year. That is it for this segment of Countdown to Kickoff. We are coming right back on Action 4. Don't go anywhere.
Central sponsors and cheer on our students this season.
Texans know you get a lot from hard work, like the class exclusive Ram box, active level air suspension, and torque flight 8-speed transmission. You also get the best weekend ever. We put everything into our Lone Star trucks, so you can get everything out of them. Experience it all, Texas, at the Ram Summer Clearance Event. Well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab with 0 to its signing and $329 a month for 24 months.
Hey, what's up?
Working out. Well, trying to, but ever since I vetted with satellite streaming my workouts, never seem to work out.
To the other side.
How many calories have you burned?
12.
With Time Warner Cable, you can enjoy a better TV experience with a faster internet. Guaranteed.
Satellite with DSL internet leaving you frustrated? Switch to Time Warner Cable. Call 1-855-1TWC to get TV, internet, and phone for as little as $79.99 a month. And ask how you can get a $300 Visa reward card. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Action 4 and Mattress Firm are proud supporters of Valley High School sports and academics. Join us as we thank our Valley Football Central sponsors and cheer on our students this season.
I'm Dr. Turner Wright, and in just 15 minutes, I can help you breathe better.
My life has changed tremendously since I had the procedure. I used to wake up again with headaches daily, and since then I haven't had any headaches in the morning.
For a sinus problem, make the right choice.
And we are back on Countdown to Kickoff, the 2013 look at the upcoming high school football season, brought to you by Action 4 Sports and ValleyCentral.com. I got to tell you, Joe, I think the Bird Bowl this year is going to be one of the hottest, most anticipated Bird Bowls ever, because the 32-5A district title could be at stake.
Yeah, and this year, Arlington South has the firepower to make that statement without any intangibles of what-ifs. If they play good football, we could see a great Bird Bowl, and it could very well decide that district.
Meanwhile, Los Fresnos, who knows? They've got one of the top receivers in all of South Texas. They might be making a run at it. To know which Brownsville team might make the playoffs as well. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's have a special preview on District 32 5A.
District 32 5A.
Our biggest recruit was our program. I think the kids themselves went out and got other kids to say, come on in, because you're going to like what you see out here. I think the biggest difference is they know me and I know them, and that to me is big.
Renee Madrano's second year at the helm at Hannah brings with it bigger expectations as well. But before any playoff talk can start, first the Eagles must settle a three-way battle for quarterback, then it's all in for week 0.
First goal is just playing against Sherryland. That's one team we've lost against them the past 3 years. We don't want to lose them against this year.
We're a lot more confident in what we can do. There's kind of a new feeling of that in the air here.
Despite losing their head coach in the offseason, Brownsville Lopez is not starting from scratch, rather building from strength. A strength that includes third-year starter Mondo Castillo, a 6'2", 280-pound left tackle who leads the Lobos offense.
I saw him my first year here and grabbed him up quickly because he's not very many kids in this valley look me in the eye, but Mondo's one of those few.
We want to go out there and we want to show these non-district games that we're serious. We're here to do some work and we're here to have the best year we can have. Now that the coaches are more familiar with the players, we know what to tell them, how to coach them up. So that always helps.
It does help when you have coaches in place for more than a few weeks before your season starts, but Pace never used Brownsville ISD's sabotage as an excuse in 2012. Now the Vikings are a year older, a year wiser, and that includes junior quarterback Alex Cisneros.
Alex has gained a lot of confidence. Obviously, he's bigger and stronger than he was last year, so we're real excited. He's throwing the ball well right now. He's seeing things that he never saw last year.
We're acting like this is the first year Porter's ever had a football program, and so there's no real expectations of what's gone on in the past or compared to the past. We're just worried about what this team can do this year and then build off of that.
A fresh start at Porter, both for head coach Tom Campos back in Brownsville after being railroaded out of Hannah in 2011, and for the Cowboys themselves looking to rebound from a winless 2012. New quarterback Oscar Rodriguez, running Campos' West Coast offense, can already feel the difference. offense.
Everybody's actually really expecting a lot out of us, and we see it too because we see ourselves progressing and we see ourselves getting better.
With our offensive people back and our skilled people back as receivers, we get to expand the offense a little bit and throw the ball in with a little bit more formations that we never used last year.
Unlike last year, Rivera coach Tom Chavez has actually had more than 5 weeks to coach his team before the season opener. Expect the new wrinkles in the Raiders offense to pay dividends for senior tailback Jack Will Evans, who looks to double the 2,000 yards and 10 touchdowns he's racked up the past 2 seasons combined.
Our hard work is going to pay off at the end of the season because we want to go to state playoffs this year. I actually want to run for 2,000 yards and try to be MVP of the Valley, make the All-Star game.
And anybody who knows football knows that if you don't have the guys up front, if you do not have the offensive line, I don't care who's playing quarterback, running back, receivers, and nothing's going to work. And the fact that we do have those guys up front, I feel good about them.
These Chargers are charged with the protection of new sophomore quarterback Marcus Castillo, and the linemen's lines of communication are stronger than most.
He helps me out, I help him out. We got each other's backs, just in life and also on the field, with some people say you were brothers on the field, but we're literally brothers on the line.
We definitely will not forget 42-2. It was not Cardinal football for us last year, and we've carried that on throughout the offseason. It's motivated us.
If a motivated Harlingen team sounds like a scary prospect, it should. The Cardinals' defensive front seven is big, strong, and aggressive, while the offense is rallying around second-year quarterback Brandon Garza, whom they believe was unfairly blamed for Big Red's 4-loss season in 2012.
He took some lumps last year, but he's a big kid, man. He prepared himself for it mentally, and he survived it. Now it's one of those things about now going out there and having some fun. The bottom line is the kid's ready. The kids around him they definitely believe in him. They definitely believe in each other.
Hopefully Jaden can run the ball. He will run the ball. He will. I know he will.
Jaden will run the ball.
Jaden will run the ball, I guarantee.
Jaden is junior running back Jaden Taylor, looking to improve on his 1,500-yard, 17-touchdown 2012 season. Can the Hawks' defense improve? South shut out half of their district opponents last year. They only let up 14 points in 6 total games, but the coach says, "What have you done for me lately?"
We have some starters back, but a lot of the defense is just getting after it. And we're going to see if we're going to do that Friday, and if we won't do that, then we're going to replace some people because we have a lot of people that are trying to get one of those 11 starting positions out here. You have to come out here and prove yourself each day. If you don't, you won't be a starter.
I'm excited about Javier Cruz. He's not going to have those Friday night big eyes, and I expect great things from him. He's way ahead of where he's been in the past. He's spent a lot of time on his own studying film, and he's paid the price.
Falcons coach Clint Finley with strong praise for his quarterback Javi Cruz, a senior who started 3 games for Los Fresnos last season. Cruz takes over signal calling with full support from his number 1 target, Brandon Colon, a 6'5" wide receiver who already has offers from UTSA, Navy, Dartmouth, and Cornell.
The offense is running well. I mean, Javi, he's a bigger quarterback. He can run more, but he can also throw just as well. So we have a lot of options on offense.
District 32 5A.
Hey, how about that? 32-5A, looking good. Some of these Brownsville schools coming up and at them. New coaches at Brownsville Lopez, new coaches at Brownsville Porter, and things are looking good down there in B-Town.
Yeah, I like to see the fact that the Brownsville schools are no longer the mystery school. They all have some solid players for a change this year right down the line. It's not going to be the last one standing. It's going to be whoever wins some big-time football games. But how about Harlingen coming in saying, not satisfied with last year? Beware of the Harlingen Cardinals.
Yeah, and of course Los Fresnos is the team that gave them the big upset last year in district play. Can they do it again? We are going to talk more about 32-5A when we come back. We're going to be joined by Eladio Jaimes and Mario Aguirre of the Brownsville Herald, talking all things District 32-5A. We'll make our predictions when we come back on Countdown to Kickoff, live from Sherrylands Rattler Stadium in Mission. Stay tuned to Action 4 Sports at valleycentral.com.
Central sponsors and cheer on our students this season.
Papa Joe's Burgers and Stuff in Harlingen. Enjoy a delicious, high-quality burger and choose from a big selection of ice-cold beer. We're open every day for lunch and dinner. See what kind of live music we'll have this weekend on Facebook.
Welcome back to Countdown to Kickoff. It is Action 4 and Valley Central's look at the upcoming 2013 high school football season. We are live from Sherrylands Rattler Stadium in Mission, and I am talking 32 5A football with a couple of guys who know it really well. It's Mario Aguirre of the Brownsville Herald, Eladio Jaimes. You were at the scrimmage last night with Prime Prep, this Sherryland Rattlers team, and the Harlingen Cardinals. They each beat each other in a round robin. Did we learn anything from that scrimmage last night? What did you learn?
Well, I learned that, for one, Dion's a nice guy. That's the biggest thing I learned. I mean, I was a fan of his and with the Cowboys everywhere, but, you know, I got to see a side of Dion that nobody's seen. But locally, staying locally, I saw that Harlingen had a very good defense. Harlingen looked very good on defense. Sherryland looked very good on defense. When these two guys went at each other, nobody scored till late in the second quarter, which was a two-quarter scrimmage. But you expect, obviously, they're two powerhouses, two Valley powerhouses, probably the two best 5A teams in the Valley as far as programs go all time. But, you know, they both had very good defenses. They both looked solid. They were hitting hard. They were getting after the ball. They were swarming at the ball. And I'm looking forward to just Sherryland and Harlingen again.
All right, Mario, let's talk about Brownsville football for a second. Brownsville veterans came out and stunned a lot of people with their big win in the first round of the playoffs. They went on to the second round. They lost a lot of guys from that team. Is Brownsville veterans still the cream of the crop when it comes to Brownsville schools, or do we have another champion for that town?
I have them as my fourth pick right now in 32 5A. Okay. Kind of by default, them, Hannah, and Rivera, I have them in the mix. It's going to be hard replacing Marco Munoz, did everything for him, and now he's back up as a sophomore quarterback. And I mean, he has time to grow within the program, but I just don't know what they'll be able to do this year.
Two new coaches in Brownsville, down in Southmost, one at Porter, one at Lopez. Tom Campos comes back from Edinburgh Vela, where he was offensive coordinator. He's got the Cowboys. Jason Starkey, former NFL player, has got Lopez. Are we going to see anything out of those two teams, or is it still too early yet?
With Porter, I think it's still too early. Lopez has a good number of returners. They have 7 on offense, 5 on offense, 7 on defense. So they have a good showing there. The thing is, they have a quarterback race they still haven't determined. So that's a little bit leaves things uncertain going into the season opener.
Meanwhile, up in Harlingen, this Bird Bowl already circled for November 9th, if I remember my calendar right. Harlingen South thinks they've got the firepower. Do they?
On paper, they look tough. And I wasn't at the scrimmage last night in McAllen, but from what I've been hearing is they look really good. And they got 6 coming back on offense, 7 on defense. A lot of people talk about Jaden Taylor. A lot of people talk about Nate Garcia, Sean Montemayor. Those guys are legit. Those guys are going to show up. And if South is going to do anything, it's because those guys are going to need to show up and play every Friday night and do what everybody expects them to do. But nobody's really talking about the defense. And South has a lot of starters coming back on defense with Brandon Rodriguez, who's their linebacker. I saw he's been starting since he was a sophomore. He's not the biggest guy on the team. He's not the biggest linebacker in the Valley, but he's one of those linebackers, your typical Valley linebacker. He's going to get after. He's going to hit you hard. And, you know, with him and that defense, I think South can make a lot of noise. Maybe one of the top teams, if not the top team in the Valley this year.
Meanwhile, Los Fresnos is saying, hey, what about us? We're the team that beat Harlingen last year. They've got Brandon Colon, who is, you know, one of the top recruits in the Valley. He's already been offered by a couple of, Ivy League schools besides UT San Antonio. Does Los Fresnos have the firepower to make a run at the district championship at 32 5A?
I think he was the unanimous pick for number 3 across all our sports reporters at the paper. And I mean, they have 3 on coming back from each side. I think they do. They've had the same system for 4 years now under Clint Finley, so I think they do.
All right, so let's go ahead and get your picks. Who are the 4 that are going to make it to the playoffs, and in what order?
I'm going to start from the bottom up. I'm going to start from the bottom up. At 4th, I got Hannah. Like Mario said, Hannah, they had a good freshman group a few years ago, and I expect them, especially with veteran Coach Medrano there, I expect them to do well. Then I got Los Fresnos. Los Fresnos, I talked to Coach Finley a few days ago, and he's confident. He's confident that his team can make a run for district title, but the 2 Harlingens do look tough. I just talked to Harlingen South, but I picked them at 2. Okay. 2. They're going to be good. It's going to come down to that Bird Bowl, man. And right now, you know, South has the talent. South has the firepower to pull it off. But it is preseason talk. This is all paper talk. If it's still Harlingen, it's still Harlingen. So until they get dethroned, I'm picking Harlingen and Harlingen South at number 2.
Mario, quickly, picks.
I wasn't sure with number 4, but after seeing Hannah last night, I have to go with them for the 4th spot. Los Fresnos number 3, Harlingen number 2, and Harlingen South number 1.
All right, you're going South number 1. I also am going with Harlingen number 1 over South. I think that defense of Harlingen just too strong. I've got Los Fresnos in 3rd, just like y'all 3 of you do. My Brownsville team of the year, Brownsville Rivera. I think Tom Chavez has got a good squad down there. I think with Jaquil Evans as a senior, he's got some other guys. I think they're going to be able to open him up on that offense. Mario, thank you so much. Eladio, thank you. That's our 32-5A discussion here on Countdown to Kickoff. We are coming right back. Don't go anywhere. Action 4 Sports at valleycentral.com looking at the upcoming high school football season. We'll be right back right after this. ValleyCentral.com is the home of Valley High School football. This season, we will feature over 140 local high school games from all corners of the Valley. Streamed live and on demand on your smartphone, iPad, or laptop computer. It all starts August 29th. It's the Valley's own online regional sports network on ValleyCentral.com. Log on now to catch all the action. This season is going to be a great one. Action 4 and the Sharyland ISD are proud supporters of Valley High School sports and academics. Join us as we thank our Valley Football Central sponsors and cheer on our students this season.
Back here at Sharyland, live coverage, the Countdown to Kickoff 2013, live here on Action 4, live streaming on ValleyCentral.com. Social media, let's talk about it, Sergio. It doesn't matter where you're at, any social media, any venue, the trifecta I talked about earlier, we got it covered.
Yeah, we sure do. Now, of course, Valley Football Central watched worldwide last year. We anticipate the same again this year. Across the Valley, across Texas, the United States, and the world. Wherever Valley people live, they're tuning in to Valley Football Central to watch our football games.
And of course, that all begins on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes 4 games broadcast. This guy's going to be busy. 9 games, I think, on the first Friday.
Right, and we already have people shouting out for teams. I got Alex Adami on Twitter saying, "Go Donna Redskins." We got Daisy Martinez from Brownsville, our very own, saying, "Go Rivera Raiders."
And Rivera Raiders. Now, Clay Williams has got a couple of guys with him. It was football and Mission, and why not have both Mission coaches? Clay, what do you got over there?
Well, hey, Mission is the place to be, guys, and we've got all the Mission coaches here with us. We've got David Gilpin right here. He's the head coach of Mission Veterans. Mario Pena right here, the coach at Mission High with the Eagles. Coach Pena, let's start with you. How excited are you to kick off this season, especially with the great season you guys had last year? I'm fired up, pumped up, and ready to go, and definitely, we're coming off a great season, and definitely we want to build on that. We're another district title, and hopefully we can bring that hardware back to Mission.
Well, standing in your way is going to be this guy over here. But talk about the rivalry you guys have, because it seems like it's such a civil rivalry. It seems like, everybody in Mission ISD, loves each other. But you guys get out there and throw down when it gets on the field. But once it's done, it's done.
Well, actually, we get along pretty well, and I've communicated with David. I'm going to be pulling for them when they're not playing us. The week that we play each other, he knows and I know the gloves are off, and we're going to get after it.
Talk about the Mission rivalry. Talk about that inner city rivalry between the Patriots and the Eagles, and how much fun it is, Coach.
Oh, Mario hit the nail on the head. Mario and I are great friends. We work very well together, and when it's game week between Mission and Mission veterans, it's gonna be exciting for those involved. You said the word though. It's civil. Once those 4 quarters on the field are going to be knocked down, drag out, and then that week leading in, we're not going to be talking a whole lot to each other and to each other's programs. But before and after, we're going to be on the same page with each other.
Let's talk quarterbacks real quick before we go. You've got one of the best, if not the best, in the Valley, in Santos Villarreal. What do you expect from him this season?
Well, I continue to say Santos is the best in the Valley. It's putting a lot of pressure on the young man. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think he was of the caliber to handle that. He opened up our scrimmage season last night, closed out our training camp in scrimmage, and he was right there exactly where we expected him to be. Poised in the pocket, dangerous in the open field, throwing the ball well, and we're going to put the load on his shoulders, and we know he's capable of carrying it for us.
Meanwhile, Coach, your new quarterback, we talked the other week about how he's still got that defensive sensibility, still wants to go out there and hit people. How's he doing as camp ends and you guys get ready for week 0?
Definitely for Steven Cavazos right now, we're converting a kid that was a first-team all-district defensive end and making him a quarterback, and it's a matter of time for him. Basically what I'm telling Steven is you need to relax, let the game come to you right now. The more reps that you get, the better you're going to get at it. Until that happens, then we're going to bank on our defense keeping us in the game.
All right. Mario Pena of the Mission Eagles, David Gilpin of the Mission Veterans Patriots. Mission is the place to be. That's where we're at. Countdown to kickoff is here at Sharyland's Rattler Stadium in Mission, and we are coming right back to talk about both of these gentlemen's teams in District 32-4A. Is it the new meat grinder? Sure seems tough, top to bottom. We're talking about it when we come back.
My life has changed tremendously since I had the procedure. I used to wake up again with headaches daily,
Hey, we are back. Countdown to Kickoff continues live from Sharyland's Rattler Stadium in Mission, where we are talking about maybe the toughest district in the entire Rio Grande Valley. You know, for the first year of realignment, Joe, we said that it was 31-5A because there were so many playoff teams in that one district. But man, you look at 32-4A, and wow, it looks tough top to bottom.
Yeah, you just talked to two coaches that are in that mix, and then you also have the Ed Calchelsa Yellow Jackets coming in. Nothing to lose and a whole bunch of talent. Yeah, up and down. It doesn't matter who you talk about. Could be the game of the week or the feature game as we talk about.
Yeah, and you look at Valley View and Roma, they think they've got a shot at the playoffs. Mercedes, despite the loss of Isaiah Garza, thinks that they can rally and make it in. It's an incredible district. Let's take a look. Let's preview all of the 8 teams in District 32 4A.
District 32 4A.
We have multiple weapons. I can't really name them all because there's too many.
We feel like, these guys, if we put them in space, they can make things happen.
The Delta area produces sugarcane, cotton, and plenty of playmakers. Ed Calchelsa football has always had the latter. The only change for Lamakina in 2013 is the coach, as former Jacket linebacker Joe Marisalar takes the reins at EE. The team coming off of a great playoff run, a win over Port Lavaca Calhoun, but for these guys, only one memory remains from last season.
No, we build on it. We're going to build on San Antonio Brennan. On that ugly loss that we did, we're going to build up on that one and we're going to come back stronger.
We're still thinking about that Brennan game, the horrible loss that we did, and we're just trying to come back. Hopefully we play them again, meet them again in the playoffs.
You get into the game, you play the game to be a state champion. And we're just like everybody else. Eventually we want to get there. Will it happen? We don't know. Can it happen? Yes, it can.
Just really trying to get each other's going, like after what happened from our quarterback.
Because of all the emotions that we've gone through the past week, I want them to be mentally strong and understand that this is bigger than a game, and the progress of this team is going to be dependent on their efforts.
A tougher situation for the Mercedes Tigers is tough to imagine. Playing without their quarterback Isaiah Garza, currently rehabbing a broken neck in Houston. But can the Tigers' desire to win a district title for IG5 push them to new heights? It will be a much different team that takes the field for Mercedes this week.
Well, we have our returning running back in Gilbert Vela and a couple other guys behind him that we feel they're going to be able to carry the rock. We're using Renan Perez as at quarterback right now, who's able to run. He's a bigger young man, so we can feel he can run. So we're going to have to adjust our philosophy with the current circumstances to fit our strengths.
We don't want to lower the bar. We're going to keep the bar high. We don't want to shut it down. We want to keep it going up.
This is a brand new football season. People don't remember what you did a year ago. They're going to remember what you do now.
The Mission Eagles coming off of a 9-2 season and district tri-championship, but in need of a quarterback as 2013 begins. So Coach Pena took D lineman Steven Cavazos, made him into the signal caller. The transition is not without some bumps and bruises.
Last year he was on my side, so it was pretty cool, and then he goes over to quarterback. I trash talk him a whole bunch, but it's out of love, and I'm ready to hit him. I want to hit him, and it's dude, I'm gonna end up hitting you.
Our quarterback still has a defensive mentality, and that's something that we're concerned about a little bit. We're telling him that it's a different animal on the offensive side. You got to keep your composure, man. Do we want him to be physical? I think you'll see that he'll be a double threat. He will not hesitate to tuck and run with the ball.
We feel like we're definitely a consistent threat to be in the playoffs. Well, that's not good enough. It really isn't, Clay. And if that's all we're striving for, well, then we're shortchanging our kids.
The next step for Coach Gilpin and his Patriots is to become a consistent winner in the playoffs, and he believes Mission Veterans is close to making that jump. Leading the way, quarterback Santos Villarreal, just a junior but ready to take his own next step and not just becoming the best quarterback in the Valley.
Don't be satisfied being the best player in the Valley. Let's be the best player in South Texas. Let's be the best player in the region. Let's be the best player in Region 3 and 4. And by the time you finish next year, let's be the best player in the state. That's the kind of things that we're talking about with that young man.
I believe we have to be the hardest working team out here. That's by far the reason. The harder you work, the more it pays off. So we have to be a team and come out here and work harder than anybody in the district to get where we want to be.
We're gonna have a great season. Every team out there better be ready for us. We come. It's gonna be great. Making history finally. 4A in the playoffs. That's what we're looking for. That's what we've been working for, and we're gonna get it.
we're going to get it.
Can you tell Valley View running back Juan Silva is excited about football season? It's understandable. Family issues caused Juan to leave the Tigers midway through last season. Now Silva has returned, and his bromance with his linemen speaks well for the year to come.
It's a good feeling knowing that we might have a 2,000-yard rusher on our backs. Feels good. Can't do anything with my line, right? And I'm proud, and I'm grateful for them.
Since they've been with me for a year, I can call a play, the offensive line executes. They're on the ball, they're on point. Lord willing, we win, it's because of them.
With human nature, we want to do better. We're not satisfied with what occurred last year, and that strength and conditioning program, it's paying off because we're in better shape, and they're performing, they're executing, they're running harder, and it's hot. But I tell you what, that they're adjusting very well to the heat because they're in better shape.
It's year 2 for the Southwest Javelinas, who have learned the lesson of it's not how you start, but how you finish. The Hoggies won 2 in a row to start their 2012 inaugural varsity season, but then dropped the next 8 straight. They say history will not repeat itself in 2013.
Honestly, last year I believe so many of us felt overconfident. A lot of people thought and we were hoping that we would come back into a varsity season that would beat everyone. So this year we're staying humble and fighting for what we want.
Hey, get up! Go! Let's go! Up here! Let's go, get up! Don't give up! Go, player! Hey, come on, baby! Give me second count, let's go! Go, you ready? Stay,
I think the 1-9 season says a lot, I mean, nobody liked it. We're all very disappointed, and we dedicated ourselves this offseason. We're going to be committed to the task at hand.
The task at hand is getting the Rattlers back to the playoffs, and senior captain Carlos Agilio is working to make that happen, both by running gassers after practice and as Rio's left tackle, protecting quarterback Noe Gonzalez. NG3 is primed for a big year.
Last year, he didn't play with a whole lot of confidence. He had a lot of turnovers last year, but he had 1,900 yards of total offense and 19 touchdowns, and he had a bad year. So that's not bad. The one thing we've emphasized to him is that you got weapons. Utilize your weapons.
We've been really focused on getting that pass game going, so we can have some answers when people start loading up the box. It's chess.
Why will Roma opponents stack the box on defense? To try and stop 2,000-yard man Orly Solis, the Valley's top rusher from last season. Much of that yardage came from blocks from Division I recruit Ovidio Hernandez on the Gladiators' offensive line. Commanding the Roma passing game, quarterback R.J. Garza, who, like many of his teammates, believe the next step for the Gladiators is not just making the playoffs.
Last year we were so close to winning. We were 5 points away in 3 games, and I got to play 2 of those games last year. And that feeling I don't ever want to feel again.
We know that we're capable of playing good football. Now we got to put it together so we can win.
Our big key is to win the district championship. Playoffs is just a side. Playoffs is just playoff, but we want to win that title. The title is the most important thing we need in the school.
District 32 4A.
Hey, how about that? 32-4A, man. I'm telling you, top to bottom. I mean, Rio Grande City thinks they can get in. Valley View thinks they can get in. It's a crazy, crazy district.
Well, and they've all got a legitimate story as to why they can get there. And Clay, it's believable. Every night, every week, it's going to be easy to say that's a big game in that district.
Yeah, it sure will. Coming up, when we come back on Countdown to Kickoff, we're going to talk to the beat writer for District 32-4A. It's Dennis Silva from the Monitor. We'll talk to him about this great district, get his picks for who he thinks will make the playoffs. It's all when we come back on Countdown to Kickoff, live from Sherrylands Rattler Stadium in Mission. Don't go away.
7-piece living room, 5-piece dining set, complete 19-piece bedroom with beauty sleep queen mattress set, and a 32-inch HD TV. Save over $1,300 at Lox.
Action 4, taking action for you.
We are back on Countdown to Kickoff. Action 4's look at the coming high school football season. We are previewing all 52 teams. That's right, 52 teams throughout the Rio Grande Valley. But right now, we're focusing on an Elite 8, and that is in District 32-4A. Joining us right now, Dennis Silva. He is the beat writer for 32-4A for the Monitor. Dennis, talk a little bit about the Isaiah Garza accident. He was the man at Mercedes. Obviously, he's never going to play football again, but just from a football standpoint, how does this affect the rest of the entire district?
Well, huge, because, I mean, they're coming off a district championship. You figure they're going to be contending right away again. It's huge. It's a 3-year starting letterman. You bring in somebody who's been playing JV the last 2 years, Renee Precious, who's got a huge task above him. It opens the doors, you know, for the Rio Grande Cities, the Romas, anyone else that were thinking like, man, we just might be out. Now that fourth spot may be open, and that's just the effect. I mean, not anything against Renee Precious, of course. He's in a tough situation, but Isaiah was just the man under center. He knew everything. He was the Mercedes Tigers.
Well, how about the rival, Ed Couch-Elsa Yellow Jackets, who come in this year with perhaps the biggest chip on their shoulders as far as quit talking about us in the offseason. Let's talk some football. But, boy, they are a talented bunch when I see them on paper.
No kidding. You're talking about a team that went 3 deep last year in returns, 33 players, a couple of All-Staters. You know, the first year head coach, he's been there, done that, Joe Marchalar. I think it's a unique situation where he knows what he's stepping into. He knows the culture. He knows the standards. So that's good from that end. Defensively, I think they're going to be really, really strong. That's where most of the All-Staters are. Offensively, you're talking about Diego Garcia, Isaac Martinez, Miguel Mariscal, Noe Gonzalez. Just go right from top to bottom. I don't know what their weakness is right now. I can't really see one.
I can't see one either. Let's go ahead and talk about our picks, and you can talk about the other teams that you've picked. Who did you pick to make the top 4 and why?
Ed Couch, number 1. Yeah, I think they just got a lot coming back, a lot of power. Number 2, I have Mission Vets up there. I think they've got one of the best quarterbacks in Santos Villarreal, a junior, maybe underrated just all around. He can do everything for them. 3, I have Roma, actually, for the first time in their 24 years making it. Orly Solis was the best back in the Valley. Robert Garza, just keep a look on him at quarterback. Mission High, that defense is going to be right up there. They're number 1 in the Valley last season. They'll be right there again. And again, you know, Mercedes is going to be right there. They're always going to be tough. And then you have Rio Grande City, who I think if they can stop people and get some stops and play defense, that offense is going to find shape to where they could be a contender as well.
Joe, your picks?
If anybody beats Ed Couch-Elsa before the playoffs, I wouldn't be shocked that would be the first loss they get is in the playoffs. Ed Couch, Mercedes, that's from my heart, folks. It's also from the belief that the players are going to step up. Mission Vets and Mission, not necessarily in that order.
All right, I've got Ed Couch-Elsa winning. That's 3 across. I've got Roma actually coming in second in the district. They've just got Oviedo Hernandez is an incredible lineman. The Valley has so many of them. He's one of the best. Then I've got Mission Veterans. Then I've got Mission. Those are my picks. Dennis Silva from the Monitor. Thanks so much for your time and your insight. We are coming right back on Countdown to Kickoff. We are not done yet. We've still got 31-5A and some more to talk about when we come back.
Around the corner, and from backpacks to clothes to shoes and more, when you send them back with Academy Sports and Sports and Outdoors has 200 styles of backpacks under $30 and 200 of the latest shoe styles for under $40. And if you do find a lower price, we'll match it.
School used to be different. This is how we shared photos.
Looking good, Sully.
And going viral meant something else. But Time Warner Cable Internet is built for today, with enough speed to power your laptop, tablet, and console, all your devices, all at once. Making the internet more powerful? That's better. Switch and enjoy better. And see Monsters University in theaters in 3D.
Papa Joe's Burgers and Stuff in Harlingen. Enjoy a delicious, high-quality burger and choose from a big selection of ice-cold beer. We're open every day for lunch and dinner. See what kind of live music we'll have this weekend on Facebook.
We are back on Countdown to Kickoff. We are talking about our final look at a district, and it is probably the most wide-open district of them all. We called it the Meat Grinder last year. It's District 31 5A. I have seen so many picks on this district, and every single one of them is different. I don't think I've seen two people pick the same four teams to make the playoffs out of this district, Joe. It is incredibly wide open. There's a lot of teams who can make a play for the playoffs.
I think you could go week by week by week and you wouldn't get the same picks after this district plays out. I'm going to throw one at you, though, because I'm not in this pick. Watch for Westico. If they really do throw the football, I saw them in 7-on-7, they can throw the football, and so watch out. If they start doing that, I'll pick them first every week.
Man, who knows who's going to throw the ball? San Benito looked good throwing the ball last night. San Benito, the Westlicos, also the McAllens and the Edinburghs. It's our look at District 31 5A.
District 31 5A.
We weren't real good offensively. We talked about that mental toughness, still the fatigue, the grind.
New McAllen head coach Kevin Brewer is putting his Bulldogs through the grind so they can grind up opponents with a no-huddle offense. The scheme will put the ball in quarterback Fred Hover's hands more than last year, when then as a sophomore he passed for over 1,800 yards and 19 touchdowns.
Our offense is tailor-made for Fred, and he's an athletic quarterback, and our offense is going to allow him to attack the defense in multiple ways.
Well, it's just really nice to have two receivers that are both 6'5", and they just go up and get the ball. It takes a lot of pressure off of the running game.
And both of them had great speed, and they got good hands. So we're wanting to open up the offense a little bit, get the ball in those guys' hands. And
those guys are DJ Johnson and Jonathan Sanchez, both 6'5", both a full head taller than anyone else on their team, both sophomores. Their mission: make life a little easier for fellow super soft Trevor Spates, already a local folk hero after 1,700 plus yards rushing as a freshman.
Well, last year as a freshman, he was a little scared to go up the middle and take those big hits. And be that impact player, and then now he doesn't have to worry about that. He can do things that he couldn't do before.
He doesn't let all the prestige and all the paper and all the TV, all the limelight that he has as such a young kid, hadn't gone to his head. Probably Johnny Manziel need to listen to him a little bit.
Yes, it's true, McAllen Rowe returns no starters from last year's offense that made the playoffs, but that's a little misleading. After all, Justin Owens has been waiting for this shot, practicing the last 2 years with his own receivers. He feels he's ready to take Rowe Warriors back into the playoffs for a second straight year.
What we saw last year, I didn't see PSJ Bear football, and that's something that we want to bring back, and that we're bringing back right now. We want to come back out, and we want to do the things that the Bears do best.
New PSJ head coach Steve Marroquin isn't talking about passing the ball. No, he's actually keeping that spread offense the Bears installed just last year, while moving Jesse Navarro to quarterback and shifting Taylor Santillan to wide receiver and safety. What Coach Marroquin is talking about is Bears' attitude.
Just a bunch of positives, man. It's way different than last year. We're coming out strong. We have a bunch of a new coaching staff, and they all have good vibes. So, we're feeding off it. Practice is coming good.
We're playing something for bigger than ourselves. Playing for our family members who have come through these halls, who have come through these locker rooms, and have been here before we have, and it's just something greater than just us.
Hold on, 3-1.
1, 2, 3.
But the biggest concern that I have is Friday night lights come on, or how are they going to react? And if they react the way that they've been reacting out here in practice, as a group, as a unit, I feel very positive for our season.
Coach Cavazos talking about his junior class, one of the most talented he's had with the Wolverines, he says, a class that includes new quarterback Eric Medellin running that offense. Defensively, Memorial is still run by seniors like Eric's older brother Victor and defensive end Terrence Porter, who says he's already got homework in this class.
That's something I think about when I go home, I dream about. So I just do mental reps as much as physical reps. So I try to get myself better in that way.
Spring was a big change, switching coaches, switching offenses, different philosophy, but I think we picked it up really well in those 2-3 weeks we had in spring.
Now the Raiders look ahead by looking to the past. New coach Steve Flores has expanded the famous PSJ North slot tee to include some wing tee and some passing. But for the Silver and Black to go back to the Alamo Dome for the first time since '03, win their first district title since '08, it's all about that old school Raider defense.
Every time PSJ school is successful, it's because of the defense. We want to go in there and then bring back the toughness and the aggressiveness that PSJ North used to have and bring it to every game.
Well, I've been a Raider since I was born, and I've been a ball boy since Coach Hernandez was here. We want to bring back what they had back in '03. We want to bring back that traditional defense. We're faster on the ball now. We're bigger. We're stronger, and we're just going to play defense. We're going to do what we're supposed to do.
Basically, we've got 4 offensive linemen who've never seen varsity football, so that's probably where the most progress is going to have to come from.
While the O-line might be a mystery in San Benito, the guys catching passes are a known quantity. Coach Spencer Gant calls this the most talented receiver corps in his tenure with the Greyhounds, and that's why quarterback Dylan Castillo has a big smile on his face.
It's terrific. It gives me anywhere to go. I'm not giving myself a second thought by who I'm going to. Each one is giving immense effort, and they're competing to get that starting job wherever it's at.
I don't remember having this many receivers that we could throw to. Normally you've got 1 or 2 really good ones, and we feel like we've got 4 or 5 that we can throw to any snap.
Last year was not a happy time for us, and this year is going to be.
1, 2, 3, Grande!
We went through a lot of stuff last year, and so now hopefully we can gain from all that experience. We lost. The old golden rule is for every sophomore you start, you lose a game. That was pretty accurate. We lost 6 games, so it was right on.
Last year's inexperience turns into this year's Panther leadership for Weslaco as the Purple People Eaters somehow replaced 3 all-district linebackers without missing a beat. As for Coach Tony Villarreal's constant stable of running backs in his slot T offense, he ingeniously keeps them fresh and hungry at the same time.
If you don't gain 4 yards, you're out automatic. So the number 2 guy is on the sideline and say, Coach, it's my turn. Yeah, get in, because he only got 3.5. So they keep him hungry. What happens on that deal is you go to the back of the line, you end up in the number 3. So you don't want to get out of the game. So they run a little harder when they know they got to pick up 4 yards.
That ball bounced right for us in a lot of games last year. We know that. We're hoping this year that we don't have to depend on that, but our district is brutal.
Brutal is the word. Weslaco East lost 2 district games in 31-5A last season. That was still good enough to take home a district title. But the Wildcats were among 3 teams from that league with first-round playoff exits. Now longtime assistant Mike Burgett takes over as head coach, diversifying the offense while bringing his own special touch to the job.
Brings a lot to the table, and especially he's tough. He gets on your face, you do your job, but he's making us a great team.
I think every coach dreams of having speed, and at Wesco East we believe in punishment. So we're putting both of them together, and we're going to see how it works this year. We're still going to run power football, but we're going to do it out of a spread set and underneath center, and so far it's looked great. Our passing game, people believe that or not, has looked really good.
District 31 5A.
Back here live streaming on valleycentral.com on Action 4, and it's 31-5A. Trevor Spates for 2,000 yards. That's what I'm saying right now, Clay. That's a pretty good pick. We're going to talk to a couple other guys about 31-5A. Mike Gonzalez, Eladio James. Join us when we come back right after this. Don't go away. Countdown to Kickoff returns.
My life has changed tremendously since I had the procedure. I used to wake up again with headaches
experience, the Sportsman and Shallow Sport Boats have always strived to bring you the very best that Laguna Madre has to offer. Whether you're fishing the flats or heading offshore, from 15 to over 27 feet, Shallow Sport Boats has over 10 fully composite models to choose from. Experience the legendary Shallow Sport. You'll find the largest selection of shallow water fishing boats and the greatest personal service at the Sportsman in San Benito. The Sportsman. You'll never see your circus sheep again. I'm going to lower prices. Kickoff Furniture, the real home store. Done. I'm Dr. Turner Wright, and in just 15 minutes, I can help you sleep better.
My life has changed tremendously since I had the procedure. I used to wake up again with headaches daily, and since then I haven't had any headaches in the morning.
For sinus problems, make the right choice. ValleyCentral.com, winner of the 2013 Edward R. Murrow Award for Best Website.
We are back on Countdown to Kickoff, your look at the Valley High School football season for 2013. Joining me, a couple of guys who know a lot about District 31 5A, Eladio Jaimes, Mike Gonzalez, Mid-Valley Town Crier. Guys, let's start with the news of the day from this district, which is that McAllen Memorial's quarterback, Fabian Pedraza, has a broken collarbone, out for a while, probably the rest of the season, maybe not. The good news is he's a sophomore. He can come back next year, the year after that. But what does this do to McAllen Memorial, Eladio? What does it do to their chances? They're going to put Jonathan Sanchez in at quarterback. They were thinking about doing that anyway.
The good news is that he's a sophomore. The great news is that he's okay and he'll come back. But if you're speaking strictly football, the good news is they still have Trevor back there, Trevor Spate. So, McAllen Memorial's going to run. Coach Littleton, he's going to run. Coaches every year say we might pass a little bit more this year. We might throw the ball a little bit more. But that's their bread and butter right there is the run game. And as long as Trevor's okay, that O-line, they do have some good receivers coming up there, Memorial. And as long as they can hand the ball over to Trevor, who's a year older, a year wiser, a year stronger, McAllen Memorial's going to be okay.
Well, speaking of guys who say they're going to throw the ball more than they ever do, Tony Villarreal at Weslaco, it looks like he's actually going to do it. Mike, do you believe him?
They haven't had a 1,000-yard passer since the days of Dylan DeLeon in the late 2000s when Mishak Rivas was in the backfield. But this would probably be the best opportunity for them to throw over 1,000 yards with a receiving corps that they have. And Robert Lopez has a good arm. When I went to their first practice, he looked pretty good. He was pretty sharp. A little off, but it looked like the timing was good because of the 7-on-7 they had this year. And then the depth that they'll have at running back as well, that can make them more balanced. And the offensive line as well. They have about 3 or 4 guys back from last year as well. Tony told me, Coach Villarreal told me that this is the most he's back in quite some time, especially on offense. So that will help Robert out, and he got some playing time last year. So as long as they keep the running game going, and as long as he has chemistry with the receivers, I think he can have a chance to throw for 1,000 yards.
All right, let's go ahead and get your picks. Eladio, lots of new coaches here. New coaches at PSJA North. New coaches all over the place. New coach at Weslaco East. Who have you got making the playoffs?
Well, I picked that new coach at Weslaco East to win the district crown this year, Coach Brigade, and that there's there's not going to be too much of a transition. Wesco East is strong. They're going to be strong this year, and I picked them to win it. I picked McAllen Memorial to finish second. Despite the injury, we're all hoping and praying that the quarterback gets better, but McAllen Memorial's tough. They're going to be in second. I got San Benito. A lot of people aren't giving San Benito too much respect, man, but they looked good yesterday against Palmview.
Yes, they did.
And, I got them at third, and then in fourth, I got Wesco High and the Panthers. And the high-flying Panthers.
Real quick, who's your top four?
I have the defending champs East winning it again. At first, I got McAllen Memorial at second, despite their loss at quarterback. I think Trevor is the best player in the district. I have the Panthers at third, making the playoffs for the 8th time in 9 years under Tony V. And I have PSGA North coming in at fourth. But that district is so balanced, and so a team like San Benito and McAllen Rowe that weren't picked to make the playoffs makes them that much more dangerous motivation-wise.
Can't count out McAllen Rowe. They've got a senior quarterback in Justin Owens who's good. My picks, I've got Weslaco winning the whole thing, the Battle of Tinaco Bowl. I've got them beating Wesco East coming in second. I've got McAllen Memorial in third. PSJ North, I've got the Raiders in fourth as well. But like you say, anybody can make it. San Benito, McAllen Rowe, even PSJ Memorial. Guys, we are coming right back to wrap it up on our high school preview of the year. It's countdown to kickoff. We're going to be right back right after this.
Joe's Burgers and Stuff in Harlingen. Enjoy a delicious, high-quality burger and choose from a big selection of ice-cold beer. We're open every day for lunch and dinner. See what kind of live music we'll have this weekend on Facebook.
Back here at Countdown to Kickoff. Now, fans, I want to make sure you understand our streaming games start this week. Thursday, we got games. Friday, we got 9 games. Saturday, the Port Isabel Tarpons against Mission Bets. That's a big-time game. We'll be broadcasting them all.
That's right. And don't forget, you can catch all the highlights on Friday Sports Extra and Sunday Sports Extra at 10:30 during the NFL season. Thanks so much for watching Countdown to Kickoff. Thanks to all our sponsors. Thanks to everybody who joins us. We'll see you next year.
Liberates. The all-new Infiniti Q50
Chevys are moving fast.
I'll take that Malibu.
Yeah, excuse me. The Equinox in Atlantis Blue was mine.
I was here first. It's mine.
I called about that one. It's mine.
Fine. It's mine. Better get going. It's the Chevy Labor Day sale.
See your Rio Grande Valley Chevy dealers. Just announced